The church nowadays is just another business. Yeah, I know that title is not sitting well with you guys, but I'm going to talk about it. The church is just another theater nowadays. Your offering, your tithe, is what you pay to watch the show. It's not free. You have to pay to watch the show. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's MW here. I hope you're having a good day wherever you're watching this video from. And by the look of that title, you kind of have an idea or direction of where I'm going with this, or what I'm going to talk about in this video today. And by that title, the church nowadays is just a business. I created that title for just shock value. And if you're a content creator, or you've been in YouTube, or you're a creator on YouTube, you kind of understand why I made that kind of title. And also, the other reason is, if you've noticed what's going on around the whole thing of the new age churches, you will understand the reason why I'm talking about this topic today. And because there's a lot going on around those new age churches, that normal human beings are being deceived, are being lied to, are being ripped off of their own hard-earned money in the name of religion, in the name of God. And I have a hierarchy of people I really dislike, people I really hate. I know hate is a very strong word, but these three people deserve it. And on top of that list is people who pretend to be something they are not, people who deceive others for their own monetary gain, and people who have severe narcissism and main character syndrome. By those three examples, you kinda understand the type of people I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fake pastors, the so-called prophets, the so-called ministers. They use the Christian faith for their own monetary gains and deceive others in the name of religion and in the name of God. The church nowadays is just another business. Yeah, I know that title is not sitting well with you guys, but I'm going to talk about it. The church is just another theater nowadays. Your offering, your tithe, is what you pay to watch the show. It's not free. You have to pay to watch the show. So this is not me hating religion. This is just me shedding light on things I've observed, of things I've seen, and things I've experienced in real life. This is not fiction. This is not the kind of things you talk about just because you've heard from somewhere or something like that. This is something I've seen with my own eyes. This is something I've experienced. And a while back, you could have told me this, and I would doubt you right there and there, and I wouldn't believe you. But these are things I've experienced in real life. So I'm not talking about something that I'm creating in my head. These are facts. These are real facts. And this is not a revelation. This is not a discovery. This is just me sharing my own views, my own opinions. I'm not a defector. I'm not those kind of content creators who've left a certain faith and then they come online, they start bashing them, they start talking negative about them. This is just me talking about experiences and me being the type of person who like to learn by going to places and being open-minded to really learn and not be so ignorant talking about something I don't understand. So, I'm not really a good storyteller, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to give you guys a short story of how I really came to learn about this, of how I really came to learn about how the church nowadays is just another business. So, a while back, someone close to me requested we go to a certain church, and we went there just because the person we were going to their church, or rather the pastor that we are going to their church for a service, is someone they really know, or someone they were talking to, and he had requested the person I'm close to for us to go there and see how he does his services, how he runs the program of his church and things like that. So it was just a normal Sunday like any other. We left home early. We reached there at around 9, and in this certain church the service started really early, and the service starting early, that meant that the people who were there already, we found that they were really praying. It was just constant praying and praying and praying until then now the service started. So as the service was going on, a few things that I noticed is how the people who are running the show, or running how things were going there, the way they had arranged how things, or how the whole program will run. So there were obviously the praise and worship team, there were ushers, there were people who read the programs and such, and then the people who are really let's say, there were a certain number of people you could see they were being fixed in the congregation for a certain idea to play along. So the guy who had invited us had not even reached yet, so we went there earlier than him. So when the guy came, he came in with his people, he sat there for some time, and then he came out. When he came out, some other guys that were, maybe they were his team, they followed him. They went outside. I don't know what they were talking about there. They came in again, they sat there, they went outside again. So in those few minutes I kinda understood they were like planning on how they were going to run the service and stuff like that. So when they came back, now the service, it's like it officially started when he came. So the service went on and went on and went on. Praise and worship, the reading of programs, the events they were holding, and things like that. So where things really started showing the signs that the church is just another theater or show is when the guy started talking to the congregation when he was preaching. He would mention a few things and then point out an idea, and then all of a sudden talk about a scenario in his sermon, and you'd hear someone all of a sudden the congregation fall and start rolling on the ground. It's like that person was suddenly possessed by a spiritual energy, just because the guy mentioned about something, and then that person falls down, and then he prays for that person. All of a sudden the person revives and stands up. The program continues. The guy continues preaching and talking about something else, and then another person falls. Another person falls, and there was a certain guy who was falling in front of me. The guy was even removing mucus from his nose, saliva from his mouth, and I was like looking at him. I was like, this guy is just playing, this guy is just pretending, this is not real. So I had to keep quiet and let things play along. And then all of a sudden there was a certain thing that really pissed me off. There were some people who were like guests, the guys who had come to the church like guests, and then when they were told to stand up and talk, one person said, "Oh, I was a Muslim, I reverted, now I'm going to join this church and become a Christian." That's a red flag. I was in a certain religion, now I reverted to that, I'm coming to this church. That's another red flag. I've left a country for abroad. I've decided to come to stay here because of this church. That's another red flag I noticed. And then there was a certain thing they were talking about. I think there was a guy who really wanted to have a wedding with a certain lady. So the guy called the phone number of that lady, trying to convince her to accept to marry this guy. And that scenario also was a red flag, the way that whole thing played along, and the way the guy was giving people roles on how the wedding will go, and the girl hasn't even accepted. He was planning for something that hasn't even happened. Like, this guy will cater for this, the other guy will cater for the other thing. So these all things I'm mentioning, these scenarios, they were the red flags that really showed me how this whole show is run. So the other thing I noticed, and it was something that was really annoying from the beginning to the end, there was this melody that was always playing in the background, some sorrowful, weird, sad melody playing in the background. And because I'm a person who deals with music, I'm a music producer, and it clicked in my mind. I was like, this is something that's really there to create a mood, a sorrowful mood, for people to feel like kind of sad, to feel trapped in the moment and forget about other things and focus on this guy. So by those few examples I'm saying, you kind of understand what I'm talking about. These are the things that really maybe made me come to understand how this show is run, how this kind of new age churches go around their things. So I'm not talking about something out of the blue, I'm talking about something I experienced. And this service started from 9 to almost 4 p.m. and I asked myself, what kind of church has a service that long? That's another thing that really pissed me off, but I couldn't even say it. I just kept quiet and I went along with it, because out of respect of the person who requested us to go. So that was it. So this whole scenario made me to understand the type of people you deal with when you go to these certain new age churches. You deal with people who are really smart, who are really sharp, who are really knowledgeable on how to manipulate a scenario, on how to manipulate people and play games with their mind and create a whole theatrical activity or moment to capture the audience. So that's why I was saying these new age churches are just theater. Your offering, your tithe is just what you pay for the show. It's not free. And then one other thing I remember now, there was a video that was played in the service, and this certain video, I think it was some sort of celebration for this guy, and the guy was sitting on a big chair, it's like a throne, and then these other people were around him dancing, celebrating. Then you ask yourself, what kind of position is this guy, what kind of picture was this guy portraying? It's like he was portraying a picture of, I'm above everyone else, you guys are below me, so you're the people who I'm using to live a certain life. I was watching that video. deep down I was like, this guy is too much, but who am I? I'm just a guest. I just came there to observe and to be respectful to someone that requested us to go. So this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. These new age churches are just there to create a scenario, to create a theatrical activity or scene, to capture an audience, make money, and make themselves rich. This type of people, I know you know them. They have private jets, they have mansions, they live an extraordinary, extravagant lifestyle that even politicians envy. So they're kind of actually in the same lane. Politicians and these new age pastors, they behave the same actually, but I have more respect for politicians because they're not hiding who they are. They're exactly who they say they are. It's not like these guys who pretend in the name of religion, in the name of God, to deceive people of their hard-earned money. So me talking about this is something I've experienced, this is something I've seen, and this is something I don't really tolerate and I don't really like at all. So I'm not here to rant, I'm not here to to be negative. I'm just shedding a light on something I experienced and I observed. So I know where you're from, you know this type of people, you understand what I'm trying to talk about, and you kinda have an idea now since you've watched this video from the beginning until now. So I'm going to end this video here, and you can write in the comments and share your ideas, or you can share your experiences on this topic. So I'm going to end this video here, and I'll say thank you for you guys for watching until this point, and like the video, subscribe, don't forget to turn on the notification bell, and also leave a comment below. Thank you, see you in the next video.